everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today here on the channel, we're going to be talking about 2020's Money Plane, and we'll also talk about its Blu-ray a little bit. So Money Plane is directed by Andrew Lawrence. He's one of the Lawrence brothers, and this movie actually features him, his brother Matthew, and his brother Joey in roles. It also stars the rated R superstar Adam Copeland, or for people around my age, they know him as But it also features Kelsey Grammer and one of my favorite character names of all time.
I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet. I am Darius Grouch III, the Rumble.
Which is just absolutely absurd. It also features Denise Richards in a very small role. She's only interacting really with Edge and her family, and those scenes are just absolutely ridiculous as well. And it also has the Punisher himself, Thomas Jane, in this movie. And that is the biggest mystery to me, is how this movie has this cast. I'm gonna guess it's the Lawrence brothers pull in Hollywood. Everyone always likes the Lawrence brothers. For people my age, you probably remember Matthew Lawrence the most. He was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and he had a pretty big role on Boy Meets World.
Why can't you just react like a normal person?
So that's always where I'll recognize him. He's also currently dating one of my biggest celebrity crushes of all time, Chili from TLC. So he's a really lucky guy. And the role he gets to play in this movie, I didn't even realize it was him. He's just chewing up scenery as J.R. Crockett, one of the people on this money plane. He basically plays a cowboy, just ridiculously over the top like everybody in this movie is. And before I get too far ahead, what is this movie exactly? I was talking to a channel subscriber, Lord Raiden, and he was telling me about this movie. And I'm a big fan of film, as you guys know. I like a little bit of everything. That also means every once in a while, I like to watch a movie that is just so bad that it's good. That's why I like trauma movies. I've actually seen The Room a bunch of times.
Oh, come on, why not?
No, I can't. Anyway, how is your sex life?
I'm very fascinated how certain movies get made and what exactly happened to make a movie just be that bad. And I would say Money Plane falls right into that category of so bad it's good, but it's just so entertaining. So when Lord Raiden was telling me about it, I checked out the Blu-ray. It was pretty cheap at the time. I think right now it's actually $16.99, so maybe a little bit too pricey. But at the time for me, it was $6.99. I was like, all right, I'll grab it. It even came with a slipcover on it, if you could believe that. So I was like, I put it in, I started the movie, and it starts off with a very simple heist, a very bad-looking heist. The cinematography in this movie is straight out of late 2000s USA Network, Sci-Fi Network cinematography, so it looks just like a TV show, and a bad TV show at that, something that didn't have a big budget. This movie only has about a $500,000 budget on it, so not a very high budget, and it ended up making about $618 at the box office, so quite the cash grab for this movie, for a movie called Money Plane. It definitely didn't make back its budget, but not too bad. $618, I could use it. I'm sure they spread the wealth around with this movie, and you could also tell that they really had no money because the score to this movie is just absolutely horrible. It never matches the scene that they're in.
Oh, so you've got to go first. No, I'm good.
You know, I guess this movie can fall into satire at points, but again, before I get too ahead of myself, what is the plot of this movie? Well, it's a plot you've seen 1,000 times over. Edge is leading a team of people. They're about to steal a painting for their boss, who again is played by Kelsey Grammer in one of the most over-the-top, ridiculous roles of all time. So they're stealing this painting for him, and then when they get in the room, turns out they were set up. They don't know by who, but the painting isn't there. But Kelsey Grammer doesn't want to hear that shit. He's like, you know what? Now you owe me $40 million that painting was worth. And the only thing I can do for you guys is I'm going to put you on the money plane, and much like a boat in international waters, this plane is flying over international waters, which means there is absolutely no rules.
Or do you want to bet on a dude? An alligator. Money plane.
This is really for the big billionaires on this planet. Apparently there's over $1 billion in crypto. There's a ton of cash, more cash that they're able to steal on board. So Kelsey Grammer's like, well, get up in that air and steal me my money. And that's exactly what they're going to do to pay back their debt. So Edge and his team get on this plane. And again, the set design of these planes, you can clearly tell that they've just filmed this on a soundstage with some of the worst lighting ever. They put Edge, for the most part of this movie, into a cockpit. He really never leaves this cockpit. He's just really there to deliver really over-the-top and awful exposition throughout the movie. It's like he's just there to be our guide to let us know what the hell is going on, which we really didn't need in this movie. I didn't need that much exposition. It's not that hard to figure out. The end of this movie, I'm not even going to spoil it, but the plot twist at the end, we all saw coming from about 10 miles away. It's something you've seen before, and you'll see it again. But this movie, at points, I'm like, okay, are they trying to be a satire of these types of movies? Because it's not really coming across that way. There's points in the movie where it's like, okay, I can see what they're going for. And I guess you can see the shell of what could be a good film in here. Because, it's hitting a lot of tropes. It's hitting a lot of heist tropes that you've seen before. But the acting is just absolutely atrocious. I love Edge. He is one of the best wrestlers of all time. I love The Brood. I love Edge and Christian. I've always been a big fan of the rated R superstar Edge. But he cannot act. He did a really bad job in this movie, and he's the lead of this film, and I did not believe it for a second. You even get other big actors in this movie, like Kelsey Grammer, but if you would have told me that they just brought cameras to Kelsey Grammer's house, and they're like, all right, let's do 2 or 3 days of shooting, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and he was like, awesome, I'm in, that's all I want to do is just play this over-the-top character, curse all the time, smoke cigars, and just be a big-time villain, just chew scenery. They said, we'll give you about $1 million. I don't think they did, because the budget's only $586,000. They probably backed a ton of money up to his house and just said, hey, we're going to film here for 2 days, and he was probably like, all right, sounds good to me, because that's what it looks like. He never leaves where he is throughout the entire movie. Not that the set design would even illustrate that anyone is leaving where they are in this movie. And even at points watching the Blu-ray, like, it's mixed pretty well, the sound design. But the thing that's awful is they clearly just didn't have great mic placement. Sometimes the dialogue is not clear and the score will overwhelm it, so I don't even understand how that even happens. It's like they're trying to make good use of your speakers while you're watching this movie. It's got a DTS Digital 5.1 on here. It's not the greatest, but the audio track is the lowest, and you can tell it's not from them mixing it bad. It's just because they didn't pick up the audio good enough, so really low budget there. Andrew Lawrence has only directed 4 movies in his entire career. All 4 of those movies have come out since 2020, by the way, so it's a quick turnaround. And, obviously, he's got his brothers in this movie. You get Thomas Jane. Denise Richards plays Adam Copeland's wife, Edge's wife in this movie. And the scenes of them and their, family moments are some of the most cringeworthy, awful scenes I have ever seen in film history. And I think it's supposed to be a joke. I can't tell for sure because it's just so ridiculously over the top and corny. I mean, everything in this movie is like that. I just couldn't believe that this is what they presented to us as this emotional arc of the movie. It doesn't work at all. Thomas Jane looks like he's having a pretty good time in this movie. I think Matt and Joey Lawrence are having a good time as well. They're there to support their brother, Andrew Lawrence, in the movie. It looks like he's having a good time. But nobody's going to win an acting award. If anything, they'll win Razzies for this movie, which, this movie's 3 years old, so it didn't win anything. It kind of just came and went. I don't know how many people even knew about this movie. If Lord Raiden didn't tell me about this film, I would have never checked it out. I'm really glad I did, just because I cannot believe that this movie was made. Every decision that was made throughout this movie just feels like it was made to be silly. There's a Russian roulette scene in this movie that is just absolutely ridiculous. If it's trying to compete with the Deer Hunter, it's on the opposite side of the spectrum with that one. It's over the top ridiculous, but it is pretty damn funny, so it's, again, something you need to see. I can recommend this movie from a standpoint of it's so bad it's good to you guys, but if you're not into those types of movies, if you don't want to waste your money on a movie that is definitely 110% bad, I totally understand that. But if you want to be entertained for only 82 minutes and just watch some big name actors just chew up the scenery and look like they're having a good time, well, this is the movie for you. It doesn't look like anyone took it seriously, and if they did, they wasted their time because this is not that type of movie. But how do you rate a film like this on a score of 1 to 10 when you know it's just absolutely atrocious on every single level, whether it be from acting, plot and story, audio, visuals? There is no redeeming quality to this film other than the fact that I have a hard time believing that it was made and that it exists. It's something that you just have to see for that reason. So for that, I have to give Money Plane a score of 2 out of 10, I guess. I mean, it's a good 2 out of 10, a solid 2 out of 10, just because, just like The Room, if you'll enjoy movies like this, you'll probably get a kick out of this one. So thanks, Lord Raiden, for the recommendation. But it's also Monday, and that means it's time that I kick this over to Future John for our digital code giveaway. And that is correct. It is Monday, and that means it's time for our digital code giveaway. In every single video that we do here on the channel on Friday, I'm going to ask you guys 2 digital code giveaway questions. And as long as you answer one of those questions in the comment section below, then your name gets put on a magic wheel. We spin that bad boy 2 times. The 2 names it lands on, they have their choice. The digital codes that you've seen on the screen before you today. And I asked you guys, what was your favorite Christopher Nolan movie? And honestly, I was surprised at how many people were already on board with Oppenheimer being his magnum opus, his masterpiece. Obviously, we got a lot of picks for The Dark Knight, Inception, a couple for Interstellar, only 2 for Memento, which did surprise me because I remember the first time I saw Memento. That movie blew me away. Obviously, it doesn't have that Nolan flair we would come to know, that really didn't show up until I would say like Batman Begins or The Prestige. The Following is a very low budget black and white movie. I mean, it really looks low budget, but yet he still tells that compelling Nolan story. Then Memento and Insomnia, they kind of don't have that flair that we would come to know. Insomnia obviously started his relationship with Warner Brothers that he had all the way through until eventually Oppenheimer came out, his first film under Universal. Whatever happened between Christopher Nolan and Universal, I never expected that to be a match made in heaven. Nolan and Warner Brothers just seemed to work together perfectly. They gave us the Dark Knight trilogy, Interstellar, Inception, so it was a pretty big surprise for him to go to Universal, but yet it gave us this masterpiece of Oppenheimer. And I'm really glad to see you guys enjoy that movie as well. And then I also asked you guys, what was your favorite film epic? And all of these were all over the place. Everybody had a different answer pretty much. We didn't overlap that many times, and that's understandable. Epics have been around pretty much since the beginning of film. I actually probably saw the most for Ben-Hur, I would have to say. And that movie surprisingly still doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray, which doesn't really make too much sense because it is one of the most popular films of all time. How many times have you heard Ben-Hur referenced? So it's really weird that that's one of those films that hasn't come to 4K Blu-ray yet. They like to bring these classic films to 4K, so I'm very surprised that that one is kind of just slipped through the cracks. But I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to spin this magic wheel and see who our two lucky winners of this digital code giveaway are. First wheel spin coming up.
Taking the elevator, going up. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top, keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up, I'm coming up.
All right, razzle dazzle. All right, Mr. Dazzle, gotta remove your name.
Taking the elevator, going up. Got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm in love with the good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top, keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up, I'm coming up.
And them, Jude F486. All right, congratulations, Razzle Dazzle, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Them, TGDUFE486. I thought that meant something, and it still might, but I'm not too sure, so I'm just going to spell it out like that. Congratulations, guys, on your win. Razzle Dazzle's been a long time entrant. I think this is his second or third win. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, you guys know what to do. Reach out to me at my email address, letstalkentmt@gmail.com. Or you can always direct message me on Twitter/X, Instagram, or Facebook. Let me know which of the digital codes you want. As long as the other winner didn't take that code, it is all yours. And this is the week we had the most names ever on the wheel. 81 names.
It's gonna be some kind of a record!
So those slices are getting really thin, like a middle school Christmas party where it's just that one little slice of pizza and a half a cup of Coke. So that's it. So, I mean, it's going to be really hard to find your names on the wheel, but just make sure you guys double check. Make sure I put your name on the wheel, because if I didn't, you also want a digital code, because it's not your fault that I'm an idiot. But anyway, guys, it's going to be a busy week here on the channel, just like every week. We're going to have a 4K Blu-ray review for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I'm going to have a review for the new Paramount 4K Blu-ray, The Naked Gun. Can't wait to talk a little bit of comedy here on the channel. Later in the week, at the end of the week, I'll have reviews for Dream Scenario and Silent Night. So we'll have a couple new movie reviews out there. So it's going to be a busy week. So make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to join the ranks of our channel memberships, like our three producers, John Doe Juggalo, Jason Martin, and Frank Rodriguez, and our channel director, Kevin Kruger, if you want to join the ranks with them or just be a friend of the channel, because we are going to be doing a giveaway of this sealed copy of Mean Streets on 4K Blu-ray. I'm going to spin the magic wheel on Thursday, so you guys will see that this Friday. And if you guys want to enter into this giveaway, and we will be doing giveaways for all of our channel members going forward, you know, maybe not as nice as Mean Streets on 4K, but we are going to try and do giveaways more often for our channel members. So if you want to join the ranks with them and help support the channel financially, you can click that link in the description below. But it's no pressure at all, guys. The best way to really just help out this channel is by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and just getting out in those streets and telling your friends about us. We will be seeing you around.